Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. Today, our group will discuss our collaborative translation project based on the PETRONAS business report. We have translated the text from English to Malay and analyzed several aspects, such as terminology, grammar, sentence structure, and translation accuracy. So before we begin the discussion, let us introduce ourselves and our roles in this project. First, my name is Mai Fatin Kisina and I am the group moderator and language analyst for this group discussion. My role was to organize the group discussion, compile the final version of the assignment, and also review the second translation for language accuracy and consistency.
Hi everyone, my name is Farzana Zaida binti Fakhrul Azam and I'm translator 1. My task is to translate paragraph 1.
Hi everyone, my name is Nur Alsa Khadija binti Ahmad. I am translator 2 and my role was to translate the second part of the report.
Hi everyone, my name is Nia Anisa binti Muhammad Nazri and I am also a language analyst for this group task. My task was to check grammar, vocabulary usage, and semantic accuracy.
Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. My name is Risa Nadia and my role for this group task is the terminology researcher. My responsibility is to identify important financial and business terms used in the PETRONAS report.
Alright, so to start our discussion, we will first hear from Translator 1 regarding the translation process and challenges faces during the task.
Okay, so I'm translator 1 and I translated the first part from Petronas financial report titled Significant Accounting Policies. So the section that I translated mainly explains how the company applies its accounting methods, and it focuses on the basis of consolidation and business combinations. So, firstly, the text emphasizes consistency, where the accounting policies are applied consistently across all our reporting periods by both the group and the company to ensure reliability and comparability of financial statements. Next, it also introduced the concept of basis of consolidation, which refers to how a parent company combines its financial statements with its subsidiaries to present a unified financial position. The main focus of the passage is on business combinations, which I translated as penggabungan perniagaan, which refers to a situation where one company gains control over another. And the text explains that Petronas uses the acquisition method, which is when the control is transferred to the group. So additionally, all identifiable assets and liabilities are measured at their fair value or nilai saksama as I translated at the acquisition date to reflect their true market value. So the cost of acquisition is calculated based on the total fair value of the consideration transferred along with any non-controlling interest, which refers to ownership in a subsidiary not held by the parent company. So this non-controlling interest can be measured either at fair value or based on the proportionate share of net assets. One of the main challenges I faced during this translation was handling technical accounting terms, as many of them do not have simple direct equivalents in Bahasa Melayu. So I had to ensure the
Adik,
terms used were both accurate and commonly accepted.
kalau
In conclusion,
Debbie
this passage
tanya
highlights
kakak kat
how
mana,
Petronas
cakap
ensures
kakak tengah
accurate
record
and
video tau.
consistent accounting treatment for business combinations, and through this translation, I aim to maintain both technical accuracy and clarity for better understanding. Thank you.
Alright, thank you Farzana. Next, we will hear from Translator 2.
Thank you, moderator. Now, for my part as translator 2, I was responsible for translating the section beginning with when a business combination is achieved in its stages until the end of the section. During the translation process, my main focus was to maintain the original meaning while ensuring that the translation sounded more natural and appropriate for a formal business and financial context. Since the PETRONAS report is a professional document, I needed to avoid direct word-for-word translation because it could affect accuracy and readability. One challenge I faced was dealing with technical and financial terminology. Some terms do not have commonly used equivalent in daily language, so I had to consider terms that are suitable within accounting and financial context. For example, in the source text, there is the phrase non-controlling equity interest. I translated this as kepentingan equity bukan kawalan. I chose this translation because it retains the original financial meaning and reflects the ownership interest held without controlling authority in a company. Another example is fair value, which I translated as nilai saksama. I selected this term because it is a recognized accounting term and is commonly used in financial reporting. Using a simpler phrase such as nilai adil would sound less appropriate in accounting terminology. Besides that, I also translated goodwill as nama baik. This term refers to intangible value gained during a business acquisition. I use this translation because it reflects the value associated with a company's reputation and position in a business context. Another challenge was the long sentence structure in the original text. Business reports usually contain long and complex sentences with many clauses. Direct translation could make the Malay version confusing or unnatural. Therefore, I use a fair phrasing strategy and sentence restructuring while maintaining the original meaning. For example, in the sentence, during the increase in ownership interest within an existing subsidiary, I reorganized some sentence structures so that the ideas flow more naturally in Malay while preserving the original information. In terms of translation strategies, I use several approaches. First is literal translation for terms that already have suitable equivalents. Second is borrowing for a specific financial terms and concepts. Third is paraphrasing and restructuring for complex sentences. These strategies help me balance accuracy with readability. From these tasks, I learned that translating business and financial text is not simply replacing English words with Malay words. It requires understanding the context, technical terminology, and maintaining consistency throughout the text. I also realized that careful word selection is important because a small change in terminology may alter the meaning of the entire statement. That is all from me. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Alisa. Next, our language analyst will present her analysis of translator one's translation.
Thank you, Mai. So, next, I will be reviewing Translators One's translations. So, I would like to comment on several language improvements that can be made to strengthen the translated text in terms of grammar, readability, and business writing style. So, first, in the sentence, telah digunakan secara konsisten. So, the phrase secara konsisten is repeated twice within the same sentence. Although the translation is accurate, the repetition affects the smoothness of the writing. A better alternative would be telah diguna pakai secara konsisten only once because it sounds more formal and natural in financial documents. Second, the phrase pihak pemeroleh memperoleh kawalan contains repetitive wording. The use of pemeroleh and memperoleh together makes the sentence sound less fluent. This can be improved by replacing it with pihak pemeroleh mendapat kawalan or mengambil alih kawalan to improve readability. Besides that, the translator used the phrase diambil kira menggunakan kaedah pemerolehan. While this translation is understandable, it follows the English sentence structure too closely. In accounting context, a more suitable expression would be direkodkan menggunakan kaedah pemerolehan because it reflects the standard financial terminology more naturally. On a positive note, the translation of technical terms such as aset yang boleh dikenal pasti, nilai saksama, and kepentingan bukan kawalan is accurate and consistent with financial and accounting terminology. This helps maintain semantic accuracy between the source and target text. However, there are also minor stylistic improvements that can be made. For example, the phrase jumlah agregat jumlah agregat nilai saksama sounds slightly redundant because both words refer to a total amount. It may be simplified to jumlah nilai saksama or nilai agregat to make the sentence more concise. Overall, the translation successfully preserves the original meaning, technical terminology, and formal tone of the source text. The main improvements involve reducing repetition, improving sentence flow, and adapting the language to sound more natural in formal Malay business writing. So that is all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nia. Next, as language analysis, I will present my analysis of translated to's translation. Alright, so translated to section, I review the translation in terms of grammar, terminology, and sentence structure. Overall, the translation successfully maintains a formal business and accounting style that matches the source text. However, I found several areas that could be improved to make the translation more accurate and natural in Malay business writing. First, there is a spelling error in the phrase keuntungan atau kerugian. The correct spelling should be keuntungan atau kerugian. Besides that, the phrase kepentingan pemilikan kumpulan sounds slightly awkward, so I suggested to changing it into pegangan pemilikan kumpulan because it sounds smoother and more natural in formal Malay. Next, another important issue is the term aset boleh lapor. The original English text uses the term identifiable assets acquired, so the more accurate translation should be aset dikenal pasti yang diperoleh. Well, this is important because accounting terminology must remain precise to avoid changing the meaning. I've also noticed that the word liability was not fully translated into Malay. Therefore, I suggested replacing it with liability to maintain consistency throughout the translation. Moreover, some sentences in the translated text are very long and complex, so I suggested simplifying certain sentence structure slightly so the text becomes easier to read while still maintaining the formal tone of a business report. But overall, the translation is already good because the meaning from the source text is maintained accurately. The improvement mainly focus on terminology accuracy, readability, and producing a more natural formal Malay style. That's all from me. Next, we will hear from Risa, our terminology researcher.
Thank you, Mai. Okay. For this task, I analyzed several accounting and corporate terms found in the text. One of the terms is accounting policies, which was translated as dasar perakaunan. This term refers to the principle and methods used by a company when preparing financial statements. I found that this translation is suitable because it is commonly used in formal accounting documents and financial reports in Malaysia. The next term is business combination, translated as penggabungan perniagaan. The term refers to a situation where one company obtains control over another business. In the translated text, I noticed that both gabungan perniagaan and penggabungan perniagaan were used. Therefore, I would suggest using only one term consistently throughout the text, preferably penggabungan perniagaan to maintain consistency and professionalism in the translation. Another important term is fair value, translated as nilai saksama. This is a very common term in accounting and financial report standards such as MFRS.
Adik-adik,
Nilai saksama refers to the
adik,
estimated value of an asset
adik
or a
cakap, adik tolong
liability
teks
based
dalam
on
grup.
current
Kakak
market
tengah rekod
conditions.
video dalam bilik.
I believe this translation is appropriate because it is widely
Tolong
accepted
bagi Aidil
in
masuk
Malaysia
lagi.
corporate and accounting context. Besides that, the term non-controlling interest was translated as kepentingan bukan kawalan.
Hmm?
This term refers to
Kau tengok Mami dah sampai rumah.
minority ownership in a company where
Eh,
the shareholders do not have full control over business operations.
I don't know.
This terminology is important because financial reports require very precise meaning, especially when discussing ownership and equity. Another interesting term is goodwill, translated as nama baik. In accounting, goodwill does not simply mean reputation in a general sense. It refers to intangible values such as brand strength, customers' relationship, and company reputation that increase the company's value during an acquisition process. Therefore, the translation number by it helps maintain the intended financial meaning of the original text. I also reviewed several technical terms such as impairment, which is translated as pengurangan nilai, security translation translated as urus niaga equity, and carrying amount translated as amount bawaan. These terms are specialized accounting terminology, so it is important to use standard translation that matches professional financial writing styles. During my review, I also identified a few language issues in the translated text. For example, the word keuntungan should be corrected to keuntungan, and the word liability should be translated into Malay as liability. Small errors like this may affect the professionalism and accuracy of the final translated document. That is all from me. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Risa. So before we end our discussion, each member will now share a short conclusion about their experience and what they have learned throughout this translation project. Um, First of all, in my opinion, this translation project helped me improve my understanding of business and accounting translation from English to Malay. I've also learned that accurate terminology is very important to ensure the meaning of the source text is maintained correctly. Besides that, I realized that sentence structure and readability play an important role in producing a natural and professional translation. So, as the moderator and language analyst, I gained experience in reviewing translation and coordinating group discussions effectively. Overall, this project taught me the importance of teamwork, communication, and precision in translation work. Next.
So, in conclusion, this translation task highlights how Petronas applies consistent and structured accounting policies, particularly in handling business combinations throughout the acquisition method. And it shows the importance of accurately measuring assets, liabilities, and non controlling interests to reflect the true financial position of the company. Throughout this task, I focused on maintaining the original meaning while ensuring the translation is clear, precise, and suitable for formal financial context in Bahasa Melayu. So, overall, this exercise helped me better understand both accounting concepts and the challenges of translating technical terms effectively. Thank you.
So for me, this collaborative translation project gave me a better understanding of the importance of accuracy in translating financial and business reports. The Petronas report contains many specialized accounting terms and concepts that require careful interpretation because even small changes in wording can affect the meaning of financial information. Throughout this task, I found that financial reports use formal language and technical terminology which cannot always be translated directly. Therefore, understanding the context and selecting suitable terminology were important to ensure that the translated version remained accurate and professional. In addition, through group discussion and peer feedback, I was able to compare direct translation choices and improve the quality of my work. This also helped me understand that translation in financial document is not only about language skills, but also about preserving the original meaning and ensuring clarity for readers. Overall, this project strengthened my knowledge of business and financial translation while improving teamwork, communication, and decision-making skills. Thank you.
So, this, I think, in conclusion, this collaborative translation activity gave me a better understanding of the challenges involved in translating business and financial text. Because translating a business and financial text is not only about changing words from one language to another, but also about maintaining meaning, accuracy, and appropriate terminology. As the language analyst, I was able to evaluate grammar, sentence structure, vocabulary choice, and semantic accuracy in the translated text. So one of the main challenges was identifying direct translation that sounded unnatural in Malay business writing. So by discussing the translation with my group members, I learned how small changes in wording could improve clarity and readability while still preserving the original meaning. I also gained more exposure to financial terminology such as nilai saksama and kepentingan bukan kawalan, which helped me improve my understanding of specialized business language. So overall, this activity strengthened my critical thinking, teamwork, and translation analysis skills. Peer feedback and collaborative discussion helped me become more confident in identifying translation weaknesses and suggesting suitable improvements. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, for me, terminology research plays an important role in financial and business translation because it helps ensure accuracy, consistency, and professionalism in the
Tak tahu
translated
je.
text. Through this task, I learned that technical accounting terms cannot simply be translated literally because many of them carry specific meanings in corporate and financial context. So by using appropriate terminology and referring to the reliable sources such as PRPM, translators can maintain the original meaning of the text while producing a translation that is clear and suitable for professional use. Overall, this task improved my understanding of accounting terminology and the importance of careful term selection in translating it. Thank you.
All right. Once again, thank you everyone for your cooperation and commitment throughout this project. That is all from our group discussion. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye bye.